for coming. Welcome to what is the second ever Young Adult Literary Convention, but also the first event in which bloggers are being spotlighted and, shown to the public. My name is Andy Robb. I'm an author, but I'm also the founder of an awards thing called the UKYA Awards. That's the UK Young Adult Blogger Awards. And every single one of these panellists here today has won an award in their field in the last year. What we don't really want is for this to be lots of lecturing and lots of falling asleep. What we'd rather is that it's more like a conversation. So if you have a question, chuck your hand up. Let's try and make this as free-forming as possible. I'll introduce the panel. In the middle here we have Jim Bean, whose Twitter handle is at UKYA. Now, Jim, Jim has a blog at UKYA where he occasionally remembers to write things, and spends most of his time on Twitter juggling an increasingly unmanageable number of accounts. He co-organises Drinks YA, which is a hashtag thing, and Picnic YA, and is helping start his favourite bookshop, Tales on Boom Lane, to get the new Teams of Boom Lane site started. Next up we have Viv Costa, who is known as Serendipity Viv on Twitter. She's the editor and owner of Serendipity Reviews, which is steadily on its way to reaching 1 million hits. Serendipity Reviews was recently listed in The Guardian's top 10 YA book blogs, and Viv also won the Champion of Content at the UKYA Awards, and she can normally be found editing her own book. And then we have Lucy on the end, champion teen blogger. Lucy Parry is the teenage blogger behind the Queen of Contemporary and the vlogger behind the BookTube channel Lucy the Reader. She's the creator and host of the hashtag UKYA chat thing you may have seen on Twitter, which is a weekly occurrence. And she is an advocate of YA fiction. Her favourite books include Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell and Pro Moon by Anna Monero. So, anybody out here want to set the ball rolling? Or I will. Good question. Alright guys, the first question, which was the first question for the previous panellists, is why do you blog? Let's start with Lucy. Why do you blog?
I blog because otherwise I would go crazy with nothing. I want to say about books. I just blog because I love talking about books and I want to share my love of books to everyone else. Spread the books.
Fair enough. Jim?
I really love books, as Lucy does. I find small talk and stuff increasingly hard both in person and on Twitter. So the cool thing about blogging and tweeting about books is you always know you've got something to talk to people about. And I think the community and UKYA blogging in particular is amazing.
I actually started on a different blog. I started doing a craft blog. Moved into book blogs when I started. I was going to have a look. I fell in love with YA books when I read Twilight, going back a little bit, but that was the first one I read, and I was just passionate from then on. So I read YA books.
So as award-winning bloggers, what in your opinion makes a good blog? What makes it something you want to read, something you want to visit, something you want to come back to? What defines a good blog in your opinion? Jim?
I think enthusiasm will always shine through whatever you're talking about. And by enthusiasm I don't necessarily mean, oh my god, everything's wonderful. But I mean showing that you really care about talking about books. If something is wonderful, fantastic, saying it's wonderful. If something's not so wonderful, then pointing out the issues in a kind and polite way, hopefully, rather than just saying, oh my god, this is terrible, which some of my own reviews completely were. And other things, I think it's very hard to tell because there are so many ways of doing a great blog. I know that I'm quite good on Blogger and on Twitter, hopefully. Yeah, I mean,
quite unique in what we do.
I look at Lucy on Instagram, or my friend Stacey, who's the Pretty Books on Tumblr, and my jaw drops because I've tried Tumblr, I've tried Instagram, and I can last about 5 minutes and get a headache before having to do all this stuff. So I'm sort of writing more, but I think there are so many amazing ways to blog, and it's great to see different perspectives and different ways.
It's being unique, standing out. You have to stand out from the crowd. So you have to be doing something that the audience wants. It has to be specific to an audience. If you're doing a blog that's going from one end to another, or you're doing a variety of things on there, or you're doing a variety of types of books, like going from adult to non-fiction, I think you may struggle to move your blog up. You're better to be specific to a certain genre or a certain age group, like we do middle grade and YA. We're very specific. Yeah. And that's helped us see in this light. You know, I don't claim that we're any better than anyone else, but you know.
There's a question, please.
Yeah, personally, I mean, I'm constantly starting blogs and then just letting them die. And maybe I'll put this short attention span. Do you have problems with thinking out new content? I don't know what we're going to say, you know.
So the question that you've got here at the front is, do these guys have trouble thinking up new content, new approaches to their blogs, new ways of keeping them fresh? Let's go to you, Viv.
It's a bit like writing. You're almost, I write in the morning, so I'm journaling, and ideas come to me during the morning. And I think blogging's very much the same. I can start coming up with ideas first thing in the morning when I just let the writing away. So I've never really had a problem with ideas. Sometimes I have too many, and I don't have time to issue them. I mean, last week I decided I wanted to do a UK-wide blog tour for Judy Blue, just because she was on Twitter. And I just can't stop with ideas. So for me, it's not been something, so I don't know how to help with all that. I think writing in the morning, or just let the brain go.
I have huge problems, yeah, and I probably create much less original content in terms of different things to do, certainly than Liv does, probably than Lucy does as well. What I do find is because a lot of my friends are bloggers, and a lot of people I talk to, a lot of bloggers or authors, with really good advice, I can bounce ideas off. So like, the one thing I've done in the last 6 months, which was a big original thing for me, on the Tins on the Lane website we've just started, I'm doing something called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, emailing 10 questions to authors, get them to answer in lists of 5, 4, and so on, and ignoring the other 5. Came up with that, bounced around a few people for ideas. 2 of them didn't reply, 3 of them said, oh my god, that's great. And then one author replied saying, oh, that's really good, but actually 3 of the questions are not great because I wouldn't be able to think of anything to answer for those. And we bounced ideas back a bit to come up with a final list of 10 questions. So I'd say certainly talking to other people, tweeting and asking, hey, could anyone think of something? If you've got an idea, ask if people can think how they can improve that. Ask if anyone wants to contribute or something.
For me, I always keep a list of posts that I want to write, so I put my ideas banked. So I'll always have a list that I want to write in the future, and then I'm always adding things to it every time I think of ideas, so that I don't lose it and brainstorm it and expand on it further. And it just really helps me to do that.
So this, sorry, please, there is a question back. So, right. Need to keep it up, folks, keep it up. A question that I asked the last panel, which I think would be interesting to ask you guys, is that there are people out here who want to take their blog to the next level. What do you guys wish you'd known about blogging when you started out? In case of, I wish I knew then what I knew now kind of thing. What are the things that you could pass on as, if I'd known this, things might have been a bit different? And shout.
I started blogging when I was 12, so I've kind of grown up with my blog, so it's kind of my journey charted in my words. But something that I would tell my past self is just not to put so much pressure on myself, because I definitely do put too much pressure on myself to do certain things and just kind of do too much. I put way too much on my plate. So I just tell myself to take it easy and do whatever I can, but not push myself too hard to do it, because it's not always possible.
I think that would be pretty much the exact same advice I'd give myself as well, which sounds like just stealing Lucy's answer, because I pretty much am, but still, I think, yeah, I love blogging, I think it's great. At the end of the day, I don't think it's something to massively stress about, because I think you'll be creating much better content, I think you'll be doing much better for yourself if you're genuinely happy, if you're enjoying it. There are times I go a couple of weeks without blogging, sometimes intentionally, sometimes just without realising it. Also, I wish I'd realised how fantastic approachable publicists were earlier on, because so many publicists are amazing, and if they ask you to do something, I was always, oh my god, I need to say yes, or they'll never ask anything again. Whereas actually they're really happy to work with you and fit in with you, and they're awesome.
I think, touching on what Jim just said, a point I wish I'd known, to be careful what I wished for. Because it may seem that the grass is very green over here, we get a lot of review books, we talk to a lot of publishers, and it's absolutely fantastic that they support us, but sometimes you get a hell of a lot of books, and the guilt sets in. Seriously, you're sitting there looking at this pile of books thinking, I'll never get through this. And I sometimes wish perhaps I hadn't rushed in as well. So as nice as it would be to be on every publisher's list, don't do it. Don't rush to do it. Get to know people. Get to know the type of books that you like, the publishers, the right ones. Because everyone's completely different from each other. So hit certain markets, but not everybody.
What tips can you guys offer to anyone here who wants to increase their readership?
For me, I always try to set myself objectives. I go about blogging in quite a business way. I am very business oriented. I love marketing and publicity. It's what I want to do in the future. So I always sit and I do this thing called a SMART objective. So I look at the time frame that I want to achieve this objective in and how I can go about achieving it, how viable this idea is. And then I set about trying to make it work, and I try and make it work in whatever way I can.
Jim? I'm just thinking how organised Lucy sounds and how I wish I was that organised. I mean, my personal view is if you really go for it, if you go for it on Twitter, if you're lucky enough to live in London where there are a ton of great events, like you turn up to stuff, it's fantastic, I know not everyone can. If you turn up either in person, online, on Twitter, on your blog, and just put the effort in, I think people do build readership. Sometimes it's a slow process, sometimes it's a quick process. Looking at Shell, who was in the first panel, who started in
November,
and spectacularly fast rise, just from being really fantastic at it, but also from putting in huge amounts of effort. Also, Lucy's UKYA hashtag is the best thing to happen to blogging in the last 2 years. Take part in that if you're not already. It makes a huge difference.
It's very much networking. Twitter is one of the best network things to do. I can remember mine literally doubling and tripling once I got on Twitter. And you need to find out who the publishers are, the authors that you want to talk to. They're really friendly, they're lovely people, and they will come back to talk to you following you back. If you're writing posts, something an author told me yesterday, what did I say? Authors will go, a lot of them read your blog posts, but they are quite turned off by posts that are not grammatically correct. I'm not saying who said that, somebody said that to me yesterday. So they may not read your posts. If you want to, you need to make sure your posts are written well and edited well before you post them. Then that will help you get more authors to come to your blog. And another thing, yes, definitely proofread your posts. I'm always a mix doing it. Sometimes I'm a bit late getting them out, but you need to do it.
What's your question from the front?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, talking about like connecting publishers and things like that, how did you start that process? Did they come to you? What did you approach them?
Okay, so the question for anybody who can't hear is, how do you start the process going of connecting with publishers, with authors, that kind of thing? Nice and loud, Jim.
Okay, I got really lucky in that I reviewed for the Book Bag, which is a huge site, and did that for I think about 18 months before I started blogging, and that was invaluable partly because Sue, who's one of the two people who runs the Book Bag, would email me after my first few reviews and say, hey, you really don't mean this, do you? And I go, no, I don't mean this. So I actually had someone to tell me what my reviews were like. But also, in that I got to know a lot of authors on Twitter through that. So I would message authors and pretty much fanboy over people I really liked and say, oh my god, can I interview you? And they'd go yes, and somewhere, well I didn't realise this at the time, there'd be a publicist sat knocking their head against a brick wall thinking, oh my god, does no one ever tell me this stuff? So some sort of getting to know publicists more, I've realised it probably go through them first. But I think certainly getting to know authors on Twitter is invaluable. If you really love their work and you want message them and say, hey, I'd love to interview you, love to do something with you, can you put me in touch with your publicist, which gives them the out, and if they're too busy or whatever, they can then say, yeah, sure, then set it up with my publicist who can let you down gently, if needs be. But I mean, I think I've probably requested maybe 150 interviews over the last 5 years or whatever, and I think probably had 148 accepted. There's literally 2 or 3. I've flaked out on authors far more than authors who refuse me. And I haven't flaked out on authors that much. That's
When I started, I was actually lucky enough to befriend Liz Tajega, who you may know. It's quite a big woman now. And she guided me on how to do it. I mean, it is to get to know publishing people on Twitter and also review books. Review books, you have those online, so people can read them and they will come to you as well. If they see that you're tweeting a really good review, really well written review, and really positive about their books, they will come to you, they will find you. Twitter may look like a big wide world, but it isn't. It's quite a small community and we find you. I am the stalker.
Please, got a question.
Do any of you have any advice about what to write a good review and how to handle a bad review in a constructive way also?
So the question is, again, advice on how to write a good review, but also advice on how to write a negative review, but in a constructive way, which can be a tricky one. Lucy?
I think with writing a bad review, which we're doing first, is that you've got to be sensitive that there is someone else on the other side who has written that book, and if you don't like it, someone else might, which is kind of the way that I think about it. Even if I don't like that book, somebody will, and so I'm writing that review for that person, and I'm pointing out that even though I did like these aspects, somebody else will. And also, the biggest problem people have is that they will tweet negative reviews to authors.
Yes, please.
And no, it's just not the way to do it. I think we aren't blogging because we want to sell books, or even we don't because we love it, but people do read our reviews and then go out and buy them. So you don't want to then damage that chance of that author getting people to read it just because you completely slagged them.
So there is some responsibility involved to the author, to the publishers as well.
Be constructive. You're going to write reviews and you have got negative things to think. So try and say it constructively so the book will take away time. I write, so I know how long it takes and how many hours plus sweat and tears they had to get that book to you. So just be a little bit sensitive and
So I'll just go and kill the seal out there.
I'm going to try and show it.
Answer the question, Jim.
Alright, I'll do my best. Right, I don't actually write negative reviews these days simply because I'm really bad at it. I completely take on board what people say about being constructive. I think that's awesome, and I am really envious of people who can write constructive negative reviews. And I've seen some amazing ones, particularly problematic stuff, calling out issues in books, which are awesome. My default when I'm writing a negative review tends to be really, really snarky, and I would avoid really, really snarky. I'm looking back through some of my reviews where authors whose later books I've loved apparently still remember my reviews from 3 years ago because they were, I don't think they were that snarky, so other authors may disagree. So I think I'm really glad to answer this question because
you made a commitment, didn't you? You've actually wrote a post there.
yeah, but also I've written like 5 reviews a year, so I'm not the greatest person to be answering that. However, I I would say that reviews come in all shapes and forms. So even though I've only written, say, 5 full reviews this year, I've written a ton of mini recommendations and stuff. I tweet a scary amount, unfortunately I'm kind of getting withdrawal symptoms because it's been, what, 20 minutes now since I looked at my phone?
Just so you know, by the way, it wasn't the seal, it was something from Toy Car. Please, question.
I also quite hard to write construction things. So I if I haven't enjoyed the book now, I choose to just not to review it. Which means kind of 4 or 5 star review. And then I want to just have it.
Okay, so the question is, if you have negative reviews to post, but maybe you don't post them, so your blog is full of 4 and 5 star reviews, does that then make you look, I suppose you're saying, does it make you look false? Does it make you look, so how honest can you afford to be?
I think it's a really interesting question. Sorry, I think it's a really interesting question because I've felt exactly the same way in the past. And what I ended up thinking is, look, to be honest, people I respect, people I talk to a lot, know that I read a ton of stuff. I don't necessarily review it all. In fact, I don't review anywhere near all of it, but I don't necessarily tweet about all of it if I don't like it, yeah? They know whether they trust my judgment or not. Other people, I don't really care. I've hit the stage where I was stressed out about it far too much. I'd see booktubers and bloggers posting up, oh my god, so-and-so's got 60% 5-star reviews and 39% 4-star reviews. I hate him, and you're thinking, if you can really afford to hate someone over something like that, then really?
Lucy, you're nodding there. Does that resonate with you?
I think that you've just got to do what's best for you. So if you don't want to post a negative reviews, then don't do it. I'm all about just doing what makes you happy, and then if other people aren't happy, then they're not people that you really want to be reading your blog in the first place. So just do what makes you happy.
I absolutely detest the rating system.
Yeah.
Get off the fence. Tell us what you think.
Because I hate having to give stars to anything because each book affects me differently. So I'm very bad at putting reviews on those. You can't, I mean, 3 and above, I think they're lucky to get those. It's bad books and those novels. 3 and above is a good book. You've read it, you've enjoyed it. So don't do it.
I think
Take them off. If you've got them on your blog, take those damn stars.
I think as well with Goodreads, it's very instant. So I might rate a book 5 stars, but in a month I can't remember anything about it. But I still feel bad about taking that rating down.
Putting too much pressure on yourself by giving them stars.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Sorry, I don't say this stuff once. But there's books I look back, because when I was reviewing the book back, they did use a star rating system. And there's books I look back and gave 4.5, 5 stars to, and genuinely can't remember it at all. And it was a completely honest 4.5 stars or 5 stars, because back then I was writing more negative ones as well. But it's just, they don't have that same effect. And there's stuff that you think of, wow, like you just said, you finish it, it's instant, it's like, wow, that's great. And then 6 months down the line, is that really a 5-star? I don't know. That's why I'm sorry.
A question here. Sorry.
But isn't the instant reaction saying something on its own? I mean, yeah, you can probably what's the nasty question always for me?
So what we've got here is somebody semi-championing the star reviewing process as an instant encapsulation of a book.
It's more. I'm thinking that they're saying that they love a book, and then 2 months down the line they can't remember it.
Yeah.
Well, you always, like most books, you forget about something, especially with us when we read so much. So isn't it?
We tend to write instant impressions.
Yeah, true.
We will, if we like the book, that's the first place we go and we're like, oh my god, I love
But
this.
it's hard to look back on Twitter and see what you said.
I see my blog as a document of my reading and how I'm changing as a reader. So I read a lot of books. So the more I read, the more I have to compare previous books to. For example, I loved Twilight when I read it. I think most people did. But now it's a bit of a taboo. Nobody really talks about it because I've read so much more since I read it like 3 years ago or something. So it does change.
I'd like to read what you've got to say.
We like it when it's nice.
What do you think of the star system then?
I don't know. You get a star system. I don't know. I understand what you're saying. It's an instant kind of encapsulation of a book's perceived worth. But it's also nice to invest yourself in reading a review of what you've done to see if you've hit the right buttons or it resonates in the way you hope it resonates in, that sort of thing. Does that make sense? We did have a question, please, sir.
How do you strike a balance between Twitter and your blog? So, in a world where you link your blog goes straight to Twitter, do you sort of pick and choose what you stick on Twitter as well?
Did you get that? How do you, basically saying, how do you juggle the balance between Twitter and your blog? Yeah?
Would everything on your blog go on Twitter? Would everything on Twitter go on your blog?
Yeah, does everything on your blog go on Twitter? Does everything on Twitter go on your blog? How do you strike that magical balance?
I'm going to be honest because I definitely prefer Twitter more than my blog because most of my friends are on Twitter. I can talk with them and discuss my feelings, but on my blog it's just me and anyone who reads it is a bonus. So I kind of spend more time on Twitter than I should, but I try and kind of promote my blogs through Twitter and then I don't feel as guilty about it. But it's just doing what you feel you're happy with and how much time you spend on each. It's up to you really.
I definitely agree with that. I've got friends in the second row making what I'm assuming are smart remarks that I can't quite hear, and hand gestures which seem to be signalling, oh my god, you spend way too much time on Twitter. I don't know if anyone's read Blaze by Kim Curran, which is about addiction to social media and stuff. She mentioned to me when she was writing that, she felt really addicted because she was tweeting 50 times a day. And I was thinking, oh, I do that before breakfast quite often. Everything I blog about, I tweet about, normally 3 or 4 times to try and catch different time zones of people. I blog about maybe 5% of stuff I tweet about. If that, it's vastly Twitter focused for me. To the point I would probably think of myself more as a tweeter than a blogger, except sitting here with one man saying that's a dark
I tend to schedule all my posts to go on Twitter. Does anyone use Hootsuite? Hootsuite's wonderful because you can schedule it all and then walk away from Twitter. Because otherwise it is addictive and you're on there all the time. And you become like a chip. I've got a family, I've got children, I can't be on there all the time, so I schedule them through the day. I also include publishers, tweets, names, all in that, because we have an obligation, we've taken them to review, so we need to let them see that the reviews are out there, so they can review them and they can put them on either on books or the publicity stuff that comes out. So we do that to go through the day, and then you try to get other people to read, have a good byline on their front door reviews to encourage people to come in and read it and see if they like it.
Question here? This is a technical question about links to Hootsuite and how you schedule posts.
Hootsuite, you've got a shoe button. It allows you to, it just turns it
But do you use, you use WordPress, don't you?
No, I
You use blogs, so do you use permanently? Permanently, because it's in the site, it's,
Yes. Yeah, no, I use it permanently, or if I'm really late, I'll make go in the morning and then just permanently.
Question just there.
Yes, do you guys have one Twitter account or a personal account? Yes, sorry.
So how many Twitter accounts do these guys own up to having?
Jim!
Look at me. I miss the days of one Twitter account. I'm going to try and list my Twitter accounts. I'm going to wait for them to tell me when I've missed one. Right. I have UKYA, which is basically my main Twitter account, technically. Because I've started working with Tins on Blue Lane on a site called Tins on Blue Lane, I'm having to use that to spread the word about it, because I could use Tumblr or Instagram or Pinterest if I was any good at any of them, but I'm not, so I need to use Twitter. I also do an occasional Countdown YA monthly chat thing, which, in fact, I'm not doing next month. And if anyone wanted to do that next month, there was a wonderful opportunity. It was worth a try. Okay. So I've got a Countdown YA account for that, and we've got a Meet UKYA one that myself and my friend Louis organise drinks and picnics and stuff in London. So it's only about 3.5. I don't know why anyone thinks that's excessive.
I have my main one and I have a Project UKYA one, which I don't update anymore, but it's there if I need it in the future. But I kind of just use my main one because then people can find it. I would recommend only having one. But like one main one that you use, otherwise it can get quite confusing. Also, if you have a personal one, keeping it separate from your blog one, that would really help, because otherwise it will get really annoying. So I don't socialise with like my friends from school on Twitter because people don't really want to see it that follow me to my blog, so I keep like two separate.
I've just got one's enough for me, and that's it.
You guys have mentioned about investing yourselves in your blogs, having a voice for your blog. How do you think your personal blog differs from what else is out there? Define your blog, blow the drum a bit. What makes you your blog?
I try to make my blog a reflection of me, which is why you'll read posts from 2012 and think, who is this 12-year-old that should really shut up? But I just try and make my blog personal, and I think that I enjoy writing it, so anyone else who reads it is a bonus. Every single person who reads it I'm really grateful to, because it means that I have this place on the internet where people actually listen to me talk about books, which in real life I don't really tend to do. I try and recommend books as much as I can. I love writing recommendation posts as opposed to reviews. I find them the most fun to write. I just try and make it kind of relatable, so anyone reading it can find some part of themselves in it, and I try to do it.
I basically stop authors. Seriously. No, I write, so I want to read about other writers. So I got it into my head very early on in the book that I would start asking questions and get them to come onto my blog to write the kind of posts that help me write. I didn't worry about anyone else, but I wanted to know about characters, about setting, about how they got their agent, how they got their deal, how 5 books down the line they're still writing and they can still do it. So I think that's what makes mine different to everyone else, because I do attract authors, I attract other writers, like Scooby. Does anyone here remember a Scooby? What's Scooby? Scooby is a society of book writers and illustrators, and there's a lot of published and unpublished authors on there. They're quite a big part of my audience as well. So if you are looking to go into writing, it's a place to go.
Jim? Oh yeah. I'm still trying to think of something and really struggling, which is kind of worrying. I would say the things that stand out for me are when I interview authors, which lots of people do. But I think coming as someone who has no real interest in writing, so very different from them, I'm asking massively different questions there too. I think a lot of people who interview authors, people in your position, which is fantastic, but obviously different.
What is it? I only interview because I like it.
No, sorry. I mean, you do in the interviews. A lot of people who are interviewing authors, people like yourself, who want to be
Writers, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm specifically asking writing questions.
Yeah, exactly. So my questions, because they're focused on something hopefully different, hopefully making it slightly different.
So you guys do you interact with authors, you interact with publishers, you do blog tours, you do the interviews, all that sort of thing. Is it ever okay when approached by a publisher or an author to do a blog tour or a review or whatever, is it ever okay to say no?
Yes. Most definitely. Yes.
Is there an etiquette to saying no?
If there is, I haven't figured it out yet.
So you just say no?
Do you know, the publishers and PR companies are really lovely people, and they don't mind if you say no. They are really good about it. If you feel passionate about something you don't want to do it, sometimes you don't have time. They know how busy you are. Look, if you don't get paid to blog, so they know, and they'll find somebody else, and they'll still come back to you and ask you to do other things. They're getting more that they are targeting us specifically on the books that we like. So there is a change, and they're looking more towards what we like, and they know what we like, and they'll come to us. So it's fine. It's your blog. You don't have to do anything for anybody else. You can do as you please.
Something I would tell 2013 me would be do not do something just because you feel you have to. The amount of books I've got that I just kind of felt like I had to take because I had an obligation to do it, but I didn't. It was, I do this for fun and putting so much pressure on myself to do a certain amount of books or to do a blog tour or something like that. It doesn't help, it doesn't make it better for me, it doesn't make it better for the publisher, the work would be really difficult. It's just doing what makes you happy, as I said, a lot. And also, publishers and people too, they do understand. And they're going to be fine if you say no.
They would rather you say no and not review it, and not have the book, give it to somebody else who is going to review it. So.
Yeah, I had a really, from maybe 18 months ago, when I was getting really panicky and I had about 4 reviews that I desperately needed to write and various things I was trying to sort out, and mentioned this to a publicist who came up with the revolutionary idea of don't do it. And her point was, you're not getting paid for it, we are really hoping you will do it, but at the end of the day, we understand that you're doing this as a hobby, and it's fine, do what you can. I think that's great. I mean, my current rules for myself are, I don't request anything unless I'm definitely planning to read it, probably planning to review it, but certainly at least tweet about it. Anything sent to me unsolicited, I don't want to say I completely ignore, because actually the baby about Lisa Drakeford was one I had sent unsolicited and really, really enjoyed. Bone Jack by Sarah Crowe, which is magnificent, absolutely amazing, was probably the only unsolicited book I read all last year, and it was actually my book of the year. But at the same time, if it's sent to me without me requesting, I don't feel I've got any obligation to anyone. And if I do request it, I feel like I'm doing the best job I can. And hopefully that will involve reviewing, tweeting, and I think people do understand that. When it comes to blog tours and stuff, I will say yes if I think it's going to be interesting. I'll say no if it's not something I'm particularly interested in, or if I don't think it's something I'm a great fit for. And every publicist I've worked with has been absolutely fine about that. I think, yeah, if you say, oh, sorry, not for me this time, that's fine.
I don't know about you guys, but when we get unsolicited books, I at least try to take pictures of it or put something on Instagram so it goes to Twitter, so at least we're talking about it even if we're not reading.
If I'm really good at Instagram, I'd definitely do that. I do try and tweet pictures, so that's a really good point, yeah. And when someone shows me how to use Instagram, I'm, yes.
You guys obviously invest a lot of time in blogging. In order to get your blog to that next level, do you have to invest financially, and if so, in what?
Buy the blog first. Buy your blog space. We picked on it earlier. Laura was talking about it. It looks better if you haven't got blogspot after your blog. So it costs about £10. And that's for about 3 years. It's worth investing. If you're going to do it properly, you want to be taken seriously. It looks much nicer when your name just comes out with .uk than blogspot. So definitely buy it.
I wouldn't say you have to invest money, and you shouldn't do any pressure to do so, but for me it was the right decision. It showed me that I was serious about my blog, and it gave me the drive to want to do something with my blog and take it to the next level because it was my own, and because I was paying money I felt like, I have to make this money worth it. So although it's not necessary, it's a step that was necessary for me that I wanted to take.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with that in that buying your domain name is a really good thing to do. Having said that, I can probably think of 3 or 4 really good bloggers I love who've done it, so even that's not necessary. Beyond that, I wouldn't say there was anything. I mean, I know some people have WordPress and spend decent money on stuff for that, and it can look great, but I wouldn't say that was by any means.
What are the best and worst things about blogging? We're slowly coming to the end, so the questions are getting vaguer and vaguer. But what are the best and worst things about blogging? Start with the best.
The best thing for me is the sense of community, particularly in the UK publishing and the book community. We are such a tight-knit community, we're all really friendly with each other. There's only minimal drama, which I can't say much about for anywhere else in the world, but for us, we are just so friendly with each other. I've met friends that I'm going to keep for life through blogging, and that's what makes it really worthwhile.
It's almost like a second family, isn't it? I probably talk to bloggers more than I talk to my own family.
Yeah, I mean, I moved down to London 2 years ago, and at the time I didn't know anyone at all down here, so I met people at work, and that was it. But then I got to know people by blogging, and at that point it wasn't even so much in person, so it wasn't because of moving to London, it was just I was in a new place, I was feeling really lonely, and I got huge amounts of support from tons of people on Twitter, particularly my friend Debbie, who blogs at Snuggles and Sofa, is amazing, who would listen to me rant and rant about how much I absolutely hated teaching my evening class, and if anyone's live tweeting this week, you don't say that, but actually my boss knows I hate teaching my evening class, so who cares? Yeah, who would listen to me and support me with that. I think the community sense is incredible, and that's by far the best thing. Also, I occasionally have authors come up to me and recognise me, which is like, this is him.
And the worst things, let's balance those scales. The worst things. The guilt. Guilt about what?
The TBR pile. There are 2 big red piles sitting there, and you just have so much guilt because you can't get through.
Jim, the worst thing for you.
Probably going with that. I'm also going with the tendency to get myself really stressed, which I'm trying to get out of, which ties in to that as well. Yeah.
And Lucy?
I agree with both of you that the rest is different, and because I'm so much younger than a lot of people, I can often feel pressure to act older or to just kind of be a bit different. I used to feel really bad about my age, I used to think that people would take me seriously. I don't anymore as much, but it's still a worry that's there. But that used to be one of the worst things.
On my final question, if anybody else has one, chuck your hand up now. Go, go, go.
I know Lucy does censuses, I'm not sure about the others. What is the appetite for certain types of content if I can be cheeky?
The question is, what is the appetite for certain types of content, such as, what do you mean?
Do people prefer blog tours? Do they prefer author interviews? Do they prefer tags? I mean, I think my tags get.
So do people prefer blog tours, interviews, tag stuff, that kind of thing? Go.
Personally, I prefer writing discussions on my blog and recommendation posts, and I find that that's what people like reading. I'm not sure if that's because my attitude to writing them is different or just people prefer them. I know that some people don't like reading reviews of books that they haven't read, so sometimes reviews get less views and less comments than other posts, and I think that's why. But for me, I like writing discussions, and I find that people really like reading.
I think for me, the least interesting stuff in terms of looking at how many people read it are reviews by a mile, which I've said something about my reviews, admittedly. Guest posts from people can be massively varied, and I think the issue with guest posts is you have authors who are desperate to write guest posts and write really good stuff, and you have authors whose publicists have asked them, can you get me 5 guest posts for this? And it's very easy to tell a lot of the time. So I think guest posts can be amazing, but it really depends massively.
Maybe it's specific to you. The biggest one I got, I did with the authors, the art of rejection. I made them list their rejection letters, how they got to get their agent.
very, very finally, because we are practically out of time, in one sentence, what is the best piece of advice you can give to these folk to take their blog to the next level? One sentence, top of your head. Lucy, go.
Use social media to your advantage and use every single thing that you can think of. Like Twitter and Facebook. Maybe not Facebook as much. Instagram, Tumblr, just go for it.
That's one very long sentence. Jim.
That was making me feel really bad about my lack of Instagram and Tumblr stuff. My one sentence would be tweet lots and join a UKYA chat.
Fantastic, Viv.
Oh God, networking. Networking is the best way.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen, we have Lucy the Reader, we have Jim Jenner, we have Terry Sutton.
Before you all go as well, Andy does a fantastic job supporting the problems, and we really appreciate being on the panel today, and he's just awesome. So we've got him a little thank you saying
Thank you guys. These guys and the other panellists will be available for the chat. If you've got extra questions, they'll be out there swanning around like they're important or something. Thank you very, very